All right, this is Chapter 2, Lesson 3, Percents and Decimals. Okay. So this first box over here says write percents as decimals. So in words, to write a percent as a decimal, I divide by 100, remove the percent sign. This is the same as moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 48% becomes 0.48. So I divided by 100, which is the same thing as moving the decimal 2 places to the left. So you can see the decimal realistically was here. I moved it 2 places to become 0.48. Okay. You can also write decimals as percents. So to write a decimal as a percent, I multiply by 100 and then add a percent sign. This is the same as moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 0.36 times 100, I move the decimal 2 places to the right to get 36%. Now let's take a look at some examples. Example number 1 says write each percent as a decimal. Okay, so method 1, you could write it as a fraction, right? So I have 56%, which is 56 over 100, which I can write as 0.56. Or method number 2, I could just move the decimal place. 56%, I move the decimal place by dividing by 100, 2 places to the left, and I get 0.56. You can use whichever method you would like. I recommend method 2 because it's probably going to be less work for you. All right, let's look at example number 2. Example number 2 is 8%. So I can write 8 as 8 over 100, or I can just move the decimal, which is right here, 2 places to the left. So I get 0.08. Number 3 is 2%. I can move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2. I have to add a 0, so I get 0.02. Number 4 says write 0.38 as a percent. Okay, so method 1, I can write the decimal as a percent. So I take 0.38 is 38 over 100, which is 38%. We learned about that last lesson. Okay, or I can do method 2 and just move the decimal point 2 places to the right. If I do that, I get 38%. Okay. Number 5, write 0.2% as a decimal. So if I wrote it as a fraction, it's 2 over 10. Okay, but remember, percents are always over 100. So 10 times 10 gives me 100. 2 times 10 is 20, so I get 20%. Or I could have just moved the decimal place 2 places to the right. 1, 2, and added a 0. Now there are 6 try it problems, but before you do those, I want you to do one other thing. Okay? This is a foldable. Okay? This was not given to you guys originally, but you will need to make sure it's glued in on page 31. Okay? I'll do a separate video on how to put this in, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So this allows you to go from percents to decimals, fractions to percents, decimals to fractions, percents to fractions, fractions to decimals, or decimals to percents. Okay? And it has examples and steps the whole way. Okay? So it just gives you a few more examples to look at. All right. Now, go ahead, pause the video, and work on the try it problems. When you're done, come back and we will go over them together. All right, now that you've tried the try it problems, let's go over the answers together. 32%. So I want to write each of these percents as a decimal. Okay? With 32%, I'm going to move the decimal. I'm going to move a decimal 2 places to the left. So the decimal was originally here. I'm going to move it 2 places. 1, 2. Okay, so I get 0.32. For letter B, I have 6%. So I move the decimal 1, 2, and I'm going to have to add a 0, so 0.06. For letter C, I have 93%. Again, I'm just going to move the decimal 1, 2, 0.93. For letters D, E, and F, I want to go the opposite way. I want to make a decimal into a percent. So remember, all I'm doing when I'm doing this is I'm multiplying by 100. So D is 0.47, multiplying by 100, so I'm moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So I get 47%. For letter E, I have 0.73, 2 places to the right, 73%. Okay. Then for F, I have 0.5, moving the decimal 2 places to the right, 1, 2, and I have to add a 0, so 50%. And that is the end of lesson 3.